But they're saying trust yourself during this period, okay, no matter what shows up, because the past is going to show up, and it's only for you to do a non-judgmental assessment about where you are with this situation, okay? It's going to be in your face so that you can physically cut the tie.
Come on, let go, baby. You know you wanna. Come on, let go. Don't you know it feels good? Come on, let go. You know you wanna. Come on, let go. Don't you know it feels good?
Hey there, what is up, Cancer? Mika here, the Traveling Tarot, back with some messages from Spirit. Special Mercury Retrograde edition. This is going to be messages to help you understand what might be showing up during the retrograde, or how to best handle what does show up. So this is for Cancer placements or Cancer watchers, and the messages are general. So do take them as they resonate, but again, see why it does resonate, if it does resonate. Okay? So I'm going to start by just pulling some of the Soul Tree cards, and then we're going to see what Spirit wants you to know for this Mercury retrograde. We're getting ready to go into it, and it will be roughly about 30 days. One of the things I know that I've been getting for sure is that this is the time of, and what's coming to mind is the word the culling, where you are now sort of the things that are dead, you're sort of clearing out that space. So it could very well show up for you. So they just want you to know that this is not, if something or someone does show up, it's not about a reunion. It's about integration, okay? And it's about that culling. You kind of solidifying those boundaries that you've been setting over the last few months. And we got my dog Bear showing up here in the background. So say hi, Bear. Bear on the track. Okay, so let's see what Spirit wants my beautiful Cancer watching this video to know that could be showing up, or that, you know, the best way to handle whatever does show up here during this next few 30 days or so of this Mercury retrograde. People tend to say, you know, are frightened by it because of some of the communication things that could be misunderstood and things like that. But honestly, Cancer, this is that time of that non-judgmental reflection so that you can make that space for what has been kind of coming into being all this time. Let's just see what Spirit, I mean, they're definitely guiding me to let you guys know that this is that reflection period. And it might be, that's so crazy. I was going to say, it might be that time. And like I said, I've been getting the Cancer, this is our time to take care of ourselves, because we definitely had self-care showing up. This is the time for us to nurture ourselves, take care of ourselves. And this is also a call back to those readings that we're saying that this is that quiet awakening. So you're doing that non-judgmental reflection. You're doing that culling, if you will. You're stepping fully into this person that you've been creating. And that might even be why I was inspired to wear this red, because there's going to be action that needs to be taken, but you're really going to be stepping into this inspired action place, okay? So do be prepared to take action, but just be open to whatever that action is and let it be guided, okay? Because remember, it's all about taking care of yourself as you embody this person that you've been creating up to this point, or that's been happening because of what you've been living up to this point, okay? We do have follow through showing up at the bottom of the deck with that self-care, because follow through is a form of self-care. Man, I have to tell you, some of the simplest shit, like following through, finally has changed my life. And so they're saying that's definitely a form of self-care, because not only does it help you embody who you've been creating this entire time, but now you feel confident. You're starting to solidify your faith in it, because you're beginning to see the evidence of it in your world. So make sure that whatever you do receive through that quiet awakening, you follow through on it. Okay, remember what I was just saying about needing to take action and why I was inspired to do red. because literally I was just seeing red. I even had something else on, and I was like, no, for this one, let's go with red. And so they're saying you're going to need to follow through on this inspiration that you do receive through the quiet awakening of taking care of yourself, nurturing, because remember, this is also that time of non-judgmental reflection that is all about that culling. That, okay, what do I want? What do I need? Those types of things, Cancer. So you're going to be inspired to the movement that you need to follow through on if you want to move into that person. And if you don't, you're just going to stay a little bit uncomfortable. And there's value in that too, because you're going to, some things that you're going through, you have to get sick and tired of before you say, I cannot do this one more time. And that is going to be your catalyst for the change. But just take a step back and allow yourself to be guided through this Mercury retrograde, and understand that whatever is showing up is for your highest good. It is for you to use that discernment. This is that integration of who I said I'm going to be now in the face of this thing for real. The X's that show up. How am I going to respond? I've been rehearsing this time. This is the time to shine. I've been rehearsing this conversation since we broke up. Now you're going to show up again. This is my time to say, okay, these are those boundaries, and I don't care how you show up. This, if you are showing up, it's got to be on these terms, or you can't stay. Okay, and that's in every aspect, including and especially your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to show up as well, because it's going to seem like the past, maybe even because there hasn't been a whole lot of physical progress, it's going to seem like the past is a better option when you really look back on it, and it's like, no, thank God I don't do that stuff anymore. Okay, so they want you to use that discernment through self-care. Because the boundaries set themselves once you decide, I no longer accept this way. If you're going to be here, it's got to be like this. And if you're not, you got to go, and bless everybody's heart. But this is real shit happening here. This is my life. It's not going to be any other thing. But what I want and need. In Cancer, this is going to be that time for you to embrace that truth. And really, before you make... Bear, get away from that. Sorry, she's over there by my computer. You stop that. This is going to be the time for you to use that discernment and say, I've been asking for this change. I'm at that crossroads. This thing is now physically. This is the thing I've been obsessing over, thinking about, looking forward to changing. It's in my face now. What am I going to do? This is go time. This is what I've been training for. Am I going to say no thank you because I know what I want and need and will not put up for with anything less than that? Or am I going to say, okay, maybe. Look, the other thing about self-care is that if you step into it, feel it, and say, no, I know what I need. As soon as you're aware, you're back home. That's literally all you do. So don't kick yourself in the ass if you do happen to make that decision. Okay. What else is Cancer going to need to appreciate, embrace, accept, release during this retrograde, or how best to handle it? Because self-care comes in. That's going to be the way that you're going to handle what does show up. Is that the boundaries that you set because of who you know you are now are going to be the things that are going to be guiding the ship, and should. What else does Cancer need to know out of the soul trees? Reflection. Did I not say that this is that time? This is what the Mercury retrograde is all about. Okay, like I say, it gets this stink of, and it is stinky because you can really feel the energy, especially the communications and like the digital part of shit. It really, you're just like, really? You worked 2 seconds ago. And then literally after the shift or after the shadow of it, you're kind of like, okay, you're working again? Okay. It's pretty obvious once you tune in. But remember what I just said. Remember what I just said about reflection. And Not only honest reflection, but non-judgmental, okay? It is what it is. It's going to be your motto over this next 30 days, Cancer. And I never lied, okay? Because that's going to bring you to a place of self-care, because you're no longer obsessing over this thing that didn't work out. And you're able to reflect on it from a healing place. Take the bounce from it, take the hit, and then move on. Because it's moving you into that integration, okay? And that's what this Mercury retrograde is going to show up for you. Something that is going to cause you to feel more reflective, okay? And again, those thoughts might even show up, or how the past was so great, but you've been working to change whatever it was all this time, okay? And just because things maybe haven't been moving as fast, it doesn't mean that what was going on then was better. In fact, it wasn't, or you'd still be doing it, okay? You wouldn't be longing for it. You don't have to take years to manifest things, okay? Especially all you have to do is get in proper alignment with your body, mind, and soul. I mean, shadow shows up with reflection. It's literally, like I said, that shadow side is going to be showing up. And the way that you're going to want to deal with it is that self-care. That shadow side is going to be showing up, but it's a time for you to embrace all of it. Do honest, non-judgmental reflection about it, and then use the information. Remember I said about integration. Use the information that you get from it to heal, take the bounce, and move into this new change that is happening, okay? I'm going to pull one more of these, and then we'll jump into the tarot to see what the area of focus might be for us over the next 30 days or so in regards to this retrograde. There's one more message for Cancer that will help them understand the best way to move in this retrograde period. What else do they need to know? Else you Cancer to understand during this retrograde. Ooh, and we got two actually. I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much because two actually jumped out. And first of all, love you is the thing. Love you and listen. Tune into, because it follows through with guide. Tune into who you are, Cancer, because that's another thing that I've been getting as a Cancer Sun Moon. Okay? As a Cancer Sun Moon, I've been getting, this is a time for you to use that discernment to step fully into who you now are. When those thoughts show up, take a time of honest, non-judgmental reflection, see where that's coming from, and then step back into who you know you truly are, okay? And use the information that you get from that honest reflection to do that from a loving and authentic place. Trust that intuition that you're receiving. Trust that first thought, which is also that intuition, those intuitive nudges that you're getting. Your first thought is going to be your intuition answering your question. Every other thought after that is going to either support that first thought, or it is going to make you doubt it. Okay, and a lot of the times we move into that, but I can do it, but what about this, and this? And so it moves us into that doubt sometimes. But they're saying trust yourself during this period, okay, no matter what shows up, because the past is going to show up, and it's only for you to do a non-judgmental assessment about where you are with this situation, okay? It's going to be in your face so that you can physically cut the tie, or you can physically change it or transmute it into something that's different now, but it's based on your boundaries, what you have to have now, Cancer, because you've given to a point where now it is time to receive, because we love giving. Giving is totally us, but if all you do is give, you're also throwing it out of balance if you're not receiving. That's the word. That's the thing I've been getting mostly, is this Mercury retrograde is going to be a time, or even just this change now, Cancer, it's a time for you to get into receiving mode, and not just from spirit. It starts there. It starts there. with love and listen, okay? But not just from spirit, but to get into receiving mode, that reciprocity. Receive that love back that you give or move on. In fact, during this reflection period, I definitely got for myself, evaluate, and it even said down to platforms, evaluate where you're putting your energy that's not giving it back to you, and cut that shit out. Go to what's working, and it's going to grow on top of that. It's like you're banging your head against the wall trying to figure this thing out, and you're just like, it's starting to be a reflection of who you think you are. It's time for you to focus on what is working and build on that, and just be willing to let go of what is not working. It doesn't mean it might not transmute as you redirect the focus of obsession, but it will free up this perspective that you might have of yourself based on the results you've been getting. It's that external validation showing its ugly head again, and it does, okay? This is only so that you can reflect on it and realize, no, who I am matters. I am valuable, I am worthy of love, and I'm worthy especially because I give love, honest and truly. And if you're doing that from a loving and authentic place, Cancer, there just isn't anything else you need to do. And I will always say that, okay? But this is that time of us getting to a place of receiving, that reciprocity, okay? Because this is the guidance that you're going to be receiving over this next. And as I pull that, we have Make-A-Wish. Your wishes are coming true. Okay, last one, because this is also a deck that you can tell a full story in. Yeah, that's so perfect. We have Completion showing up as well, and then we have Becoming. This happened to come out with Completion. So yeah, this is the thing, Cancer. You're stepping into who you're becoming and who you've been wanting to become with Make-A-Wish showing up. You're being guided directly there, but this guidance, because it is a quiet awakening, is coming through self-care, nurturing, and love, and you actually tuning in to being okay with what you want, how you want it to look, and how it needs to be for you to play. This is what I say about, in my course, I Came to Win, this is what I say about the spiritual rider. I'm a celebrity, baby. For me to show up, I need to have the green M&Ms. I need to have freaking peaceful music, and I need to have whatever. It's basically the same principle. You create your rider and you say, I don't know what that is. I'll have to. Anyway, but you basically say, you create your rider and you basically say, for me to play, and this is in a relationship, this is in a business, this is in even a creative venture or project. These things need to be there for me to give my energy to it, okay? So I invite you to either look into taking the course, or at the very least create your spiritual rider and say, I definitely need reciprocity. I definitely need non-judgmental interaction. We need to be able to be who we are around each other, and without you trying to change me or me even trying to change you. Okay, those things are definitely in my rider. I need to feel loved, and I need to be appreciated for the love that I give, at the very least. So start small with what platforms that you just are a part of that are not giving you anything back, and just say, no more of this. I'm not going to keep banging my head against the wall. At least start there, and then that'll start the self-care train. So I'm going to jump into some of the tarot, see if we can get a little confirmation about an area of focus. Any possible challenges, obviously, when the past shows up, whether it's in the form of a person, a thought, a relationship, it can be that shadow stuff that we did see show up in the soul trees. So they just want you to be gentle with yourself, but let's see what they have for the area of focus for us. What does Cancer need to focus on, or what would be helpful for Cancer to focus on as we move into this Mercury Retrograde? Whoa, okay, let's see, is that too many? Oh, well, maybe it's all three, actually. Yeah. You know, and honestly, it's kind of interesting because we have the Page of Wands showing up, which is all about you tapping into that also comes into that self-care and love you. You're tapping into that new spark, or you're finding new ways to express yourself, and you're doing it from an inspired place. We did have it showing up with the Five of Pentacles. So on one hand, it feels like scarcity or lack might be some type of a thing that'll show up during this in some way, whether it's with a relationship or with a person. But that's where that self-care comes in. But what's really standing out is that key. They want you to know that you hold the key by releasing that abandonment, disappointment, scarcity, lack, shortage consciousness that what we've lived has caused us. Is that reflection, what we've lived has caused us to feel. Instead of looking at it from that wounded place especially, look at it from a non-judgmental place so that you can use the information that you receive, Cancer, because we also had the Two of Wands showing up as the area of focus, which is about receiving that inspiration, receiving the plan. But instead of it coming from that wounded place, you taking that key, and that key is your passion. That key is your love. That key is your desire to do this, okay? And you want that thing that moves you, not necessarily the thing that you have to do. With the Magician showing up, you want to use all of that information, because this is also that integration that I was talking about. The Magician, he represents manifestation, but he definitely represents using everything that you've lost, the information from that period, but you don't want to make any more decisions from that wounded place. You want to make it from a place of spark and inspiration, and then you receive the inspired plan to take action on, okay? Because remember what I said, it's definitely going to require that action. But during this retrograde, as you do that self-care and non-judgmental reflection, you're going to definitely want to take action, red, Mars energy. You're going to want to take action on the inspiration that you do receive. And I don't care if it's the smallest thing. If you're like, I'm inspired to go look out that window, kind of follow those nudges. Not only, that you're going to maybe find something hidden or revealed, but you are going to get comfortable with those nudges, okay? That's that integration. And also, when the past does show up during this retrograde, you also want to use this integration energy to be like, who am I now? Is this still true for me, or has this just become some habit, okay? So we do have also the Five of Pentacles showing up as a possible challenge, because you could still be thinking from that wounded place. But you'll know, especially if you listen to what you're receiving, because you're being guided. And so if it's making you feel like shit, that's a different energy than going towards your wish, okay? That's moving away from the cycle ending. I think the last couple of readings we've gotten is that it is definitely over. Let it end. Okay? So if you are still thinking from this wounded place, you'll instantly know, because not only will it block the new inspiration, but you will also not be able to receive the plan, and you'll feel stuck. Feeling stuck is almost the most obvious evidence there is about you still making decisions or feeling things from that wounded place. And look, if you're in that place, it is what it is. Accept where you are and see what you can pull as you do reflect on even your current situation. If it feels broke, if it feels Five of Pentacles right now, see what you can get out of this that is going to move you into an energy of receiving. And you will be able to start getting the inspirations no matter how small they are. And we have another page showing up with that new love, that new fulfillment, that new burst of of creativity, or even opening up your heart. That's the thing. I think that's been the running theme in the readings since I started this channel again, was open up, Cancer. It's okay to do that, and it's time to now, okay? And to make decisions from the place of knowing that you have the key to change any situation. I don't care if it's love, I don't care if it's money, and I don't care if it's even a physical condition. People have healed themselves. Okay, so you can do it from no matter where you are, but it does start with deciding to love yourself, take care of yourself, and listen to the guidance that you're receiving. Love yourself enough to listen to the guidance so it's moving you directly towards your wishes. I love the soul trees. I always say I might do a full reading on those cards because, man, they are so deep. But let's see what else might be showing up, what challenges, or you know what, I kind of did the challenges within that scarcity mindset. No matter what it is you're focused on, that scarcity mindset might show up. Or when the past shows up, you might feel it's this or that. As soon as you become aware of it again, try to tune back in. Remember that you are moving differently now, and you're not only moving from a place of self-care, but you're moving from a place of love. And you know what love feels like. If it doesn't feel like love, then you're moving from that wounded place again, okay? And you'll be all you have to do is, once you realize it, it's only a couple of perspective ticks for you to go ahead and move back into who you truly are. Because this shows up as I stop to tell you guys that, to let you know that this is you holding to your vision, and you're protected against whatever is going on, because this is that major transition, okay? So the things that might show up during Mercury Retrograde, as long as you hold to your vision, no matter what shows up, you do come out on top, and you are now holding to your vision and moving towards the Eight of Wands energy, which is unblockage, okay? Because that's definitely coming to mind as you continue to tune into who you are, realize your power and your energy is the thing. The blocks start to lift, and you move from the 7 into the 8 of Wands. Okay, so let's just get some advice, and then I'll send you guys off with the self-care oracle card. Take that one. Look, Cancer, we are getting so many pages because, like I said, this period is going to be the integration period. You're going to, if you've been having financial problems, you're going to be learning how to open yourself up to those new opportunities. And not only that, but step fully into them, okay? This survival, overburdened energy is over now, Cancer. And that's the thing. And I feel like that's also the double message of the Five of Pentacles. Not only do you start to realize you hold the key, but for some it might be a challenge still, because you might still be dealing with scarcity of some kind, or loneliness, or something like that. So it might be hard for you to truly believe that things have, and not are, but have already changed. You're already somebody new. And so any discord that you might be feeling will show up in your body, but that's that shadow self that we saw earlier on showing itself. And so instead of trying to resist even that, embrace it. And even if it's fear, even if it's whatever, just be like, you know what? I love you, me, and we're going to get through this together, one step at a time, whatever we have to do. Because we know too much, and we know inherently that we hold the key to this. And that could also be part of the left out in the cold abandonment energy, because you might feel like, I know the key to this and I'm still living this. The universe is not hearing me. The universe is not listening to me. That's that, feeling like that you're the only one that is not using this energy appropriately. But they want you to know an end has already arrived. If you're not seeing it, it's only because you're coming from that wounded place instead of that inspired place. okay, moving with the pages, because it's so crazy. We have the Page of Cups, Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. Inspiration, creativity, love, money, opportunities, physical things into your experience. But it really just depends on if you're still moving from a wounded place or not. And if you are, start with this. Because self-care and loving yourself right now is going to be the thing that brings you to the guidance. Okay, because we also have listen and guide showing up. It's to bring you to the guidance. But if you're only hearing the noise that's around you, you will not be able to hear the guidance. But the advice here is, look at things from a new perspective, especially with all the pages showing up and the 10 of Wands showing up, that end to that burden or unnecessary commitments or just that overgiving. Because now that overgiving has caused things to be out of whack in our world, Cancer, and that's the thing. The universe is about balance. It's about reciprocity. It's about giving and receiving. Overgiving causes things to throw out of balance, okay? But they're saying embrace this, because it does represent maybe overthinking, overworking, overgiving, over, but also it represents it being over, because it's a 10. Okay, and 10s break down to a 1, which is you stepping into this page energy. And we have the Page of Cups show up too. Okay, and that's what they want you to do right now, is start to look at things from a different perspective, from you actually having the key or having the answer or having the perspective that you need. And if you don't have that perspective, talk to your angels. That's a form of self-care. Say, God, angel, spirit, whatever you want to call them, it doesn't really matter. Energy, help me get the perspective I need to move into this new thing as a page. To embrace this new beginning and not come from this wounded place. Give me the perspective, the beginner's mind that I need. And then give it up to him. Before you know it, you'll start feeling lighter and capable again. Okay? So let's get a little bit more advice from Spirit, and then I'll send you off with a self-care card. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that the 8 of Cups would show up, the Knight of Pentacles, and then the Tower. I love that. And then we had another ending, the painful ending. But they want you to know with this being the underlying energy, is that the breakthrough is definitely coming if you haven't been feeling the breakthrough, okay? Or just know you're kind of in the breakthrough. Things being shaken up is the breakthrough. It's causing you to be able to and wanting you to step into this page energy, this new energy. We're still feeling a little bit of scarcity with the 5 of Pentacles showing up. It's over. It's painful, but there's a new horizon, because both of these women are walking into a new horizon. We're leaving what has been holding us back in the past, and mostly fear. And it shows up however it shows up individually, because people are living their own perspectives. So if you understand that, you'll allow them to, and then you'll move on into your own horizon, okay? But this could indicate a couple of things, okay? They're wanting you to know that during this retrograde, there might be a few delays in certain things. And they're even saying, especially if you are traveling, in some way, we know that, Mercury can kind of be crazy with that energy. But, they're just definitely saying that there may be some delays, or you might be waiting to hear back on something, and you might think that it's dead, or you haven't heard anything back, so you're just like, whatever about it. Maybe you feel like you didn't get it or something. They're saying that idea or that opportunity is still in play, but there are some things that are changing, especially with this Tower energy behind the scenes. So you can it's still in play, of course, with the 8 of Cups, okay? So right now you just want to work on, because you're also becoming something else. You want to work on shifting your perspective during this retrograde, and they're really saying that it's probably going to show up closer to the end of the retrograde period, okay? So you work on just allowing these cycles to close and tuning into this new page energy. And that opportunity is still going to show up. Is what they're saying. It is what it is. And if it does show up, drop it in the comments, okay? But they want you to know that this opportunity is still going to be showing up, okay? But there may be a few delays because there's things going on behind the scenes. And so your only work is to A, believe that it's still possible and true. B, work towards seeing yourself in that opportunity still. Still imagine you and your partner in the La Jolla house. Still imagine you on set with whoever, working with whoever. Okay, just still imagine that because that's still in play. Okay, don't start letting the fact that you haven't heard back make you start doubting. Okay, that really being implicit about it being some type of opportunity, especially with the Two of Wands showing up. And it could very well have to do with travel, okay? Because they're also saying during Mercury, since there's delays, maybe this whole thing has been delayed until after the retrograde, because travel is also a thing that's heavily affected by that, okay? So, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think we even need to pull any more cards, but they're definitely saying this retrograde is going to be a time about self-care, honest reflection, non-judgmental, loving yourself, listening to the nudges and guidance, and listening for the nudges and the guidance, because you're being guided towards that completion and that wish. And it's so funny because completion is crazy in this reading, with completion, the Ten of Wands, the Ten of Swords, as well as the Eight of Cups, as well as the Five of Pentacles, okay? And that's what they're saying, is that energy of, and then when I move it, we have becoming. That energy of scarcity and not having what you need, or feeling like you've been left out in the cold, or that things have been harder than they needed to be. The retrograde is going to be the catalyst for that big change, okay? So be mindful of that as things do show up, and realize that this is your time to integrate those boundaries into your who you are now and what you've been creating up to this point, okay? And like I said, don't kick yourself in the ass if you happen to fall back into it. Remember, you can still decide if this is for you the second you're aware. You'll receive the nudges, that's the listening, okay? But if you find yourself still letting that person back in, or still thinking these thoughts, or still doing this, and this with this job, just be like, that's okay, because this is information. I know I can't do this again, because you will get to a point, your intuition is going to say, remember why you wanted this to end? This thing was hurting you. It may seem like at least something's going on right now, but you wanted this stuff to end. Let it end, baby. And your body's going to tell you that until you finally say, no, you're still showing up like this? No, thank you. Or your body will be like, wow, this really has changed. You can stay. That's going to be a personal thing. Okay, so I hope something did resonate, Cancer, but just hang in there. This retrograde is, remember what I'm saying. It's really about, and I love that. I love that so much that these are the self-care cards that showed up. This retrograde is about integration, okay? Embrace that word. And if you want to, go ahead and drop it in the comments so that you can claim it, because it is not about a reunion, and it is not about any other thing but for you to embody and activate, put in place these changes that you've made, okay? These boundaries that you've set in the face of people, in the face of thoughts, in the face of financial situations or business part, whatever it is. It's time for you to say, okay, I set these boundaries, and now I'm moving on these boundaries. This is what it is. I'm something else now. Okay, so if it did resonate, please do like, share, subscribe. Please do support the channel, you guys. If you're interested in booking a reading, everything is always going to be in the description, or you can definitely DM me. I'm about to put together a couple of cool, spreads for unblocking and stuff. So you're going to want to definitely hit that subscribe button so that you can stay up on what's going on with the Cancer energy. I am Cancer Sun Moon, so I love the fact that I get to connect with you guys. Again, if you're interested in booking a reading or anything like that, please do just hit me up, okay? So we do have fresh start showing up, and we have soulmates showing up for those that are looking for a partnership. Once you let go, for those of you that are looking for any type of partnership, okay, because a soulmate does represent those love partnerships, but a soulmate does not only represent that, okay? A soulmate is about partnerships, solely guided partnerships, or divine partnerships, and sometimes even those antagonists are the soulmates, because they help you grow, or they help you become who you've been through another phase of what you need to understand about yourself, because it really is all about you. It's coming from you, Cancer, and once you truly understand that, then you start looking at how to change what you're exuding, okay? So we have fresh start showing up. That's what this retrograde is all about. It says you're being given these opportunities to begin again and allow yourself to embrace the new life instead of that wounded place. This is for you to make that decision from this new perspective, okay? And open up fully to the gifts that you've already been given, okay? And then it says the divine will provide you with the love when you're ready. Now you put that in place. If you need a soul-aligned business partner, the divine is going to provide you with that when you're ready. And it's only going to be when you're no longer exuding that wounded energy. Okay, and so if you're not finding it yet, that would be the place to start. Even just finding a place of hope. And you start doing that with that non-judgmental reflection. Okay, and most importantly, and I think, Cancer, we got this for self-care for one of the last readings. Avoid those toxic people, okay? You will feel, because we had it show up with soulmate, you're going to feel which one is going to be soul-aligned and which one is toxic. Trust your intuition, because that's guidance, okay? This is guidance towards the people you are meant to be in contact with to help you into this new becoming that we did see, okay? So it says hang out with people who uplift you. Your spirit will not bring you down. And that is how you're going to know. You're going to listen. Because even if you let this person who keeps showing up back and forth back in, how does it feel? Does it feel like it's changed? If so, then you can maybe look deeper into it. If it hasn't, your body's going to tell you instantly, and it's up to you to listen to that guidance and move from a place of trust and understanding and faith and love, okay? So we are moving into a fresh start. Embrace this retrograde energy to use the information to walk away and move towards your new horizon, because we had completion show up so many times in here. It's staggeringly obvious, okay? So thank you again for watching. I am Mika, the Traveling Tarot. I love you guys. Take care of each other, okay? Peace.
Oh,